So what made you want to become a defense attorney?
So it was kind of a windy road to get here. I started out life as a ballerina. I had studied ballet starting when I was 8 years old. I grew up in a small town in Long Island, but I had the great good fortune of having an amazing woman who was from the original Ballet Russe, who had this little ballet studio in our town. And so I studied, and I would go into New York City on the weekends and take classes with, professional dancers. And that was all I ever wanted to do, was dance. But somewhere in the back of my mind, knowing how absolutely competitive ballet world is, and I was never anorexic, and I was a little short to be a dancer, it was always in the back of my mind, if I can't dance, I'll go to law school, which was more of if I can't do it, I'll make a living, kind of a practical solution. And I had no idea what it meant to be a lawyer. My grandfather was a lawyer, but he died when I was 8 years old. So honestly, I just no idea what that meant. I just knew that was a practical thing to do. And so after my first year of college as a ballet major, I was injured. And so I transferred to UC Irvine and was a drama major. I was like, well, what else do I want to do? I was looking through the course catalog, and I'd always been in plays my whole life, and I sing. So I thought, I'll just do that. That'll be fun. And it was the best 3 years. It was absolutely incredible. I learned, I read all of the classics. I read a lot of Shakespeare, and I met the most amazing people. And it was an incredible experience. And then as I was about to graduate, I had a theatrical manager say to me, pretty face is a dime a dozen in LA. If you sing and dance, you should go to New York. So I put my tail between my legs and I went back to New York. I had no idea how to even start to pursue a career. Of course, I got a job as a waitress, which is what you do. And I spent 4 years in New York City waitressing, teaching exercise, going to dance classes, voice classes, acting classes, and auditions, sleeping maybe 3 hours a night because I would waitress at night, teach exercise at 7 in the morning. I was on the subways at 6 in the morning and, counting rats while I was waiting for the trains. It was very not glamorous. And after 4 years and 4 days of extra work, I walked out of ABC Studios where I'd done extra work on all my children. And I just looked up at the marquee and I said, this is not what I have spent my life studying for. I studied ballet for years and years with some of the greatest teachers in the world. And I have a degree in drama. And I just, at that point, was tired of scraping literal coins together to pay my rent. And I was living with a musician who ended up actually being the lead singer for Tower of Power. He was an R&B singer. If you didn't see him, you would think he was Black. He has this incredible soul voice. He's a white boy from Massachusetts. And I came home to see my mom, came back to California to visit my mom, and she literally dragged me kicking and screaming into the Swallows, which is the famous saloon in San Juan Capistrano where the Swallows return. And there was a country band playing, and this guy and I locked eyes, and that was it. I moved back to California, and he talked me into going to law school. And again, I just had no idea what I was getting myself into. Just like with Matt's case, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I had no idea this was going to blow up and be this huge media story. I just thought I was representing some bookie guy. And with law, I had no idea what I wanted to do with it or how I was going to use it. And got into law school kind of last minute, moved up to LA, and it was 3 of the most brutal years of my life, complete opposite of my undergrad degree. I studied 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and studying for the bar was pure hell. Taking the bar exam, they have ambulances outside in case people have panic attacks because it is so stressful. Like, you don't drink water because you don't want to take 5 seconds to go to the bathroom because you only have a limited amount of time. It was the most stressful experience. And, just really not how my brain is used to working. I'm much more of a creative person. And actually, my second year of law school, I went to Lake Arrowhead with my friend Emma, who was kind of my support system throughout law school. And I just sat there and cried because I was like, what have I gotten myself into? I had borrowed so much money and I hated it. But I graduated with honors and got a job, believe it or not, with an aviation litigation firm in downtown LA. Could not have been more boring. It was absolutely hell. And I was sitting on the 36th floor of a skyscraper in downtown LA thinking, oh my God, what have I done? The Talking Heads song was my anthem. And so I quit after 2 years, rented a little guest cottage in Laguna Beach from this beautiful family, and did some appearances. I went to massage school, and I spent 6 hours a day sitting on the beach, and I read books, and I tried to figure out what to do with my life. And it was so interesting because during that time period, 2 different people, one was a public defender and one was a DA, and they both said to me at different times in completely separate settings, I really think you would enjoy being a public defender. So I went to see a lawyer that I know, and he goes, so what are you doing these days? And I said, I'm thinking of maybe applying to the public defender's office. And he picked up the phone, and I had an interview the next day, and I got the job.